only recently did I come in contact with the Bitcoin universe by mumbling, or I guess I also had Vitalik of Ethereum fame on my podcast. And many Bitcoiners responded to that in a way that I had not sort of understood, which is, how dare you talk to charlatans and scoundrels? And
how dare you?
How dare you?
I was one of those.
Were you?
Yeah.
Tell me about that.
I can't remember what I put. I think I probably put something, why are you talking to a scammer?
Really?
Yeah, something like that. I don't know. I'd have to go and dig it out.
It doesn't seem very nice, Peter.
Well, we're not very nice people sometimes. We are actually. Bitcoiners are really nice people.
I can't figure it out because you guys do seem to be sort of weirdly idealistic and decent, but somehow you appreciate the aesthetic of being a dick.
It's a little bit like it's like your body's own defense system against getting sick. Like you get food poisoning and you're just vilely ill afterwards, coming out of both ends. You wouldn't wish it on your worst enemy, right? And that's your body repelling this thing that it deems to be dangerous to it. And I think for the OG Bitcoiners that have been around since, the 2012 cycle or whatever, I think they've seen, and that's not me, but I know these guys, and I've studied the history of Bitcoin and the various alt cycles that we've done previously, and they've seen so much of it come and go, and just wave after wave of things that promised to do something but then not actually deliver on it, that I think the collective OG Bitcoiner community and then the new Bitcoiners that have added on to that have adopted this stance that is commonly referred to as maximalism, which is the refusal to sort of even entertain that maybe there could be something else out there worthwhile.
Yeah.
But also, we're very protective over this Bitcoin thing because it's a project that's taken 30 years to exist. The previous projects by cypherpunks to try and build this form of digital money, which many failed.
Right.
And finally, we have one that's worked. And it is working.
And it's worth fighting for.
It's worth fighting for. And the way people explained it to me, because I made shows about toxicity saying you need to be nicer, you need to be welcoming people in, but...
No, I didn't say that.
Oh, no, I did.
I know, but I want to be very clear.
Lex Friedman did.
That's the kumbaya love perspective.
Yeah.
I probably have a different perspective.
Well, so I think what it is once you've been in for a while, and like Travis said, you hear the same bullshit over and over again, but once you have your material amount of net wealth in there, you want it protected. It has to be hard to change.
But that's talking your book. And it's if the issue is that my net worth is in this object, and now the idea is that object is susceptible to going down or going up depending upon how people feel about it, I have to ensure that people feel about this in a way that's coincident with my financial goals.
No, that's a different point. So forget the financial goals. We've had all this stuff with Elon recently, and plenty of us, have said, "Fuck off, sell your Bitcoin. We don't want you here. Like if you're going to cause issues, and we'll take the net loss. We're in this for the long term. This is a multi-year project for us.
Yeah.
It's more about people coming in, trying to centralize the project or trying to influence narratives in a new way. This kind of, you see the meme, I just discovered Bitcoin, I'm here to fix it, that kind of thing. And also trying to defend against the basic principles of what we're trying to achieve here, which is just decentralized money and very simple properties, 21 million coins, Bitcoin has to do three things. It has to secure 21 million coins, it has to issue new coins in the process, and it has to allow for censorship-resistant payments. And just protecting that is why people can get quite rabid.
Right.
And I think it's kind of interesting. I took a long time to get my head around it because I think what it comes down to is this idea of learning in public, right? And learning in public when you've got 500 followers is different from 500,000 followers.
That's true, but I don't think that's where I have my differences with you all. In other words, I understand the idea that this is something worth protecting to you.
Mm-hmm.
I understand that this is something that is constantly under attack. It's under attack by people who don't even understand that they're attacking it. Let's assume that we go through all of this, okay? Maybe I have to pass some sort of a written, number 2 pencil bubble quiz. Assume that I get most of the answers right. At that point, what I understand of it is that this system has a bolt-on culture that is necessary potentially in order to get it to function. Like it may be that Bitcoin maximalism is a necessary part of Bitcoin for Bitcoin to work. So assume that that's true. In which case, it isn't just the protocol from the white paper or whatever. It's in fact a composite. It's like in Judaism, you have written Torah and you have oral Torah. So in a weird way, the culture of Bitcoin is one that is highly idealistic in its interior very often. It's not homogenous. So many different kinds of people live in this ecosystem. But then the crust of it is extremely unpleasant. And the idea that you have to have that kind of a dichotomy present between an idealism because you're trying to do something different and a sort of an armed wing. Let's think of it as the armed wing of the Bitcoiners, right? That's a known way of dividing things. Like Hamas, for example, does a lot of social services in Gaza with hospitals and schools and the like, and they also do firing of rockets. So it's very common to have some sort of idealistic thing coupled to some very aggressive military thing. And I don't see Bitcoin as particularly distinguished in that regard. And it's sad to me in part that the architecture of the coin isn't better so that the culture of the Bitcoiners can be less focused on this issue of attack.